Question is regarding to purpose.
Purpose.
Correct.
Your purpose?
Yes.
Same as everyone's purpose. To be yourself as fully as you can. The idea of acting on your highest excitement is an indication of the expression of your purpose, but your purpose is to be you as fully as you can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that too simple?
Yes.
Then you may complicate it however you wish.
As human beings, before we come to this life and experience what we're experiencing, do
Yes.
we come with a pre-laid out path?
In some senses, many of you do, although it's not necessarily as rigid as you may think. There are certain themes that you decide to explore, and you could consider those themes a type of destiny, if you wish, but your free will determines how you will explore that theme. You can explore it happy, sad, upside down, backwards, forwards, fast or slow, whatever you wish, according to your free will. But you will explore the theme that you set out for yourselves because that's the definition of the life, the process you go through in discovering yourself from that particular angle. That particular path is the very essence of why you are you, as this particular persona in this life. So you work both ends of it, in a sense, by making a choice from a higher level and then making choices with your free will once you are in the idea of the physical experience, exploring the theme that was chosen from the other level. Now, of course, we're speaking about all of this from a linear point of view. From our perspective, everything exists all at once, and there really isn't a before and an after. But we understand that from your space-time perspective, it seems as if you are a spirit before the life, then you choose to have a life, then you die and leave the life. But that's just your perspective from a physical point of view. All these stages of your existence actually all exist simultaneously. But you don't have to worry about that right now.
Okay.
Does this help?
A little bit.
Anything else?
Yes. So my mother tells me stories about my father that I never met, and he used to talk about aliens all the time to her.
Yes.
I never met him. I never talked to her about this until recently, and it's something that's always followed me from my childhood.
Yes.
I've had...
Well, it goes in family lines quite often.
Okay.
Back for generations and generations and generations.
So I've been watching your videos for a long time, and I always feel like there is a message that you might be able to help me out with.
The message that is the most important message we can possibly deliver to any of you is simply the three-part formula of act on your highest passion to the best you are able with absolutely zero insistence on what you think the outcome ought to look like. That's it. Because when you do that, you activate the kit of excitement that contains all the tools you need in life. It becomes the driving engine that propels you through life. It becomes the organizing principle through synchronicity that shows you exactly what you need to do, in what order, and when. It becomes the path of least resistance that allows you to flow through your life in an effortless way, a joyful way. It becomes the path that connects you to every expression of your excitement that is relevant for you to express in your life. It becomes the reflective mirror that reveals to you anything within you that is out of alignment with that excitement, so you can identify it and let it go because it doesn't serve you and add its energy to your overall excitement. It is the thing that supports you in all the ways you need to be supported in order to allow you to continue to act on your excitement to the best of your ability. And it will absolutely leave nothing relevant out. It is a complete kit. So when you act on the three-part formula, you activate that kit, and therefore, all you have to do from that point forward is to continue to act on the things that contain even just a little bit more excitement than any other option at that moment in your life, as best as you can, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further, with absolutely no assumption or insistence on what you think the outcome should look like, because that's actually a limitation on what could happen even more grandly than you imagined. And by doing that, and then every single circumstance that comes up as a result of the actions you take Just make sure you always know that it's there for a positive reason, and you will always get a positive effect from it, no matter how it looks. Even if something crops up that you don't prefer, if you know that that happened for a positive reason, you will get a positive and beneficial effect out of it instead of identifying it or defining it as a negative. That's all you have to do. That's the whole formula. There's nothing else to it. It's that simple. Does that help you?
Yes. Last one.
Yes.
When I was a child, I was taken somewhere in the water, in the ocean. I just have a memory. I don't know if it was a dream or what it was, but I was taken into the water, deep into the water, and into a cave. And when I got inside the cave, there was a bright light.
Yes.
The light seemed to me what I could remember as Mother Earth. Is there anything about that you could tell me?
Yes, very often, many of you will have different encounters. You will get shifted into a slightly different reality than what you are used to as a physical reality, and have encounters on that slightly different plane with many different kinds of beings. But the dreams that you may remember may be symbolic interpretations of what actually happened, because your physical mind can't either make sense out of what happened, or you are encouraged by those beings to have what is called a screen memory, so that when you wake up, you will just remember what seemed like a strange dream and won't actually remember what happened, because there are reasons why memorizing what happened may actually interfere with your life unfolding in a natural way. So what you're experiencing or describing is a screen memory that is typical of being taken aboard a type of ship, placed in a liquid immersion that allows for the shift to happen without damage to your body to a slightly different dimensional plane, and the light being the idea of an examination or a scanning beam upon you to determine your state of being. Does that help?
Do you know what the purpose of that was?
Yes, to determine your state of being, your state of energy, to see how you were progressing. Because you have made an agreement, like many of you, with these beings to be part of what we typically call the evolutionary hybridization agenda. Part of the evolution of the Earth becoming what we term the sixth hybrid race. So you're playing your part, and now and then there will be, well, checkups.
How am I doing? How am I doing?
You're doing fine.
More specific?
You're doing very fine.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
Okay, hi there.
And to you, good day.
I'm Bonnie, and I'm just starting my journey.
You are? Were you just born yesterday?
No. Actually, I've been on the journey for a long time.
We thought
and
so.
I've been trying to, help my children.
You've been what?
I've been trying.
You've been what? We are selectively deaf to certain terminologies.
Okay,
such as the word trying. You're either doing something or you're not. Now, if you want to try, that's an experience unto itself, and that's fine and valid, but the only experience you will have is the experience of trying and not actually doing the thing. So, what would you prefer? To do?
To do, okay.
And what would you prefer to be doing that you're not doing?
Okay, well, I've been doing, trying...
I beg your pardon? Speak
Okay,
up.
I've been talking to my children about journeys and paths they can take and so forth for a very long time. And I kind of lost my own focus, and now I'm
What are you exploring?
need to get myself back on the same path that now my son has really, come full circle with, and is now
all right. Well, what could
bringing
you be
me
doing?
back here. So yes. So as
what
far
could
as
you be
your
doing
teacher,
that you're not doing?
Could you possibly put me in the direction I need to be with your teaching?
Pick a direction. Again, it's not that complicated. When we talk about the idea of acting on your highest excitement, we don't necessarily mean it has to represent itself right away as a career or life-spanning project or anything of that nature. All we're saying is if you don't have something expressing itself that way, begin simply. Look around. Just look at the options available to you. Simple, everyday options. Walking, reading, singing, writing, having lunch with a friend, whatever it may be. Just pick the one that has even just the tiniest bit more attraction or excitement to it than any other option, and act on that one first to the best you are able until you can do it no further, with no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome of that action will be. You can take it slow. You can start step by step. It will eventually build into more opportunities coming to you synchronistically for more and bigger expressions of excitement, because all excitement is a thread that's connected to all other expressions of excitement that are relevant for you in your life. So you don't follow the form in which the excitement comes, you follow the excitement itself. That's the path. That's your compass needle pointing to your magnetic north. That's all you need to do. We will assume that you are here today having this conversation because out of all the options available to you, this is the one at the moment that excited you the most. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
That's all
Absolutely.
it takes. That's all it takes. When you are done with this conversation today, when you leave this particular location on your planet, just say, out of all the options available to me, which one is more exciting than any other? If it seems that two are equally exciting or more, you usually don't have the same degree of ability to act on them equally. But if you do, you might as well flip a coin. Because the idea is, since there is a guiding principle in all of this, automatically, if they really appear equal, both in levels of excitement and level of ability to be acted on, it won't matter which path you then take, because if it is not the appropriate path, it will contain the synchronicity necessary to turn you back around to the one that is actually correct for you. It's a self-guiding principle. This is how it works. Understand, we're not talking philosophy here. This is physics. It's just energy physics. This is a description of the mechanism of existence and how you can use it more efficiently, more consciously. That's all it takes. Is this making any sense?
Yes.
Is this
Very much.
helping you?
Yes.
All right, and?
And my son has seen the number 1, every time he turns around on the clock, it's 111.
These synchronistic markers, which many of you have, that sometimes, quite often involve the concept of numbers, will be symbolic reflections of synchronicity. In other words, when you have that, it's a marker. It's an indication that at that moment you are in the correct energy state, fully aligned with your path. Stay in that state and act from that state at that moment. It is showing you that your timing is aligned. Yes?
Oh, yes. Great.
That's it.
That's great.
Does that help?
Wonderful.
Thank you. Speak up, speak up.
First, I want to thank you for everything that you've shared with us over the years.
It is our pleasure. Thank you for allowing us to do so.
All right. The first thing I want to ask you is about an experience that I had.
Yes.
I came out of a meditation and I was going to bed. I went to sleep, and
That sounds exciting.
it was very fun. I mean, it gets more exciting.
Oh, all right.
So I had what I think is an out-of-body experience.
All right.
And what I experienced was, it seemed like a toroidal something was floating over me.
Yes.
It was gray, and it seemed like it had spirals, like a galaxy.
Yes.
And then I heard a voice say, that's level 1 consciousness.
All right.
And as soon as it said that, the gray thing snapped back into my body.
Oh,
So,
all right. You
could
poked up through your crown chakra and saw things from a little bit of a higher perspective, a little bit from the higher mind's point of view.
Okay.
The crown chakra is actually represented by a toroidal ring. Hence, in your ancient paintings, when people could perceive them, the concept of you call the halo.
Okay.
That's the crown chakra.
So,
Then up from that is an inverted upside down cone, pointing down, spreading up into the higher mind connection.
okay. So what was I doing that I tapped into that? I mean, obviously I did the meditation.
You
but-
loosened your frequency spectrum enough that you could slip into a higher frequency more naturally. It's kind of like you let go of the concept of having to focus so strongly in physical reality for a moment.
Okay.
You
And-
saw through the dream, because physical reality really is nothing but a dream. So you became lucid in the physical dream temporarily.
And so it was meant to just show me that
Yes,
things can
because
become
now
more
that you
lucid.
have that experience, you can call upon that experience. Because remember, anytime you remember an experience like that and what it felt like, you're actually in that state. Even if it feels different, you're in that state. In fact, it's actually more paradoxical than that. The only way you can actually remember having an experience like that is to actually be in the state first. Because you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of. So it's kind of a trick. You trick yourself into being into that state so you can remember being in that state so that you can remember to be in that state. But you have to be in the state first in order to remember that that's the state you prefer to be in. So if you can remember having the experience, you're already in the state.
Okay, cool. So I have another question. I have two more questions.
Yes.
My second question is with respect to simultaneous or other incarnations.
Yes.
Can you talk about any incarnations I may have had that
You mean that you have,
that I have now?
that you are connecting to because you don't have them?
Well, yeah, sure, that I'm connecting to.
All right.
Where the themes might have repeated, or any recurring themes that I might have explored.
How much time have you got?
All right. Maybe just one theme then that is recurring in these other incarnations.
Why?
Because I'd like to know if it's recurring in this incarnation.
What do you suspect is recurring or
I-
being created anew in this incarnation? Because nothing reoccurs in that context. You are creating it again for yourself anew, creating the illusion of continuity, creating the illusion of a recreation, but you're creating it now. So what do you suspect is representative of such a sense of recreation?
I don't know. I think I heard you in a prior transmission talk about these themes coming up for different people,
Yes.
like from Oversoul,
Yes.
and being kind of repeated until the lesson is learned or something like that?
Well, in a sense, but it's never actually the same twice. But it might be another perspective, another investigation, another angle of a theme. But that's not really a repetition. It's learning about something more completely, learning about it from different angles, from different perspectives, so you can have a more holistic comprehension. It doesn't have to be looked at as a repeat or a reoccurrence. That's a definition.
Okay.
It's a definition which will allow you to only experience it as a reoccurrence instead of something new that is a different angle that gives you more comprehension. That would be a more constructive definition of the experience.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So see what happens when you apply that definition and see if the quality of the experience or the nature of the experience changes for you.
Okay. I will. Thank
And
you.
your third question?
It's with respect to Merkabahs.
Yes.
And I want to know if you could talk a little bit about origin and also how Merkabahs are coming to play with the changes that are occurring here on Earth.
Well, it's just based on the concept you typically call sacred geometry about recognizing that there are geometric patterns that are symbolically representative of certain energy states in your reality that you can take advantage of by aligning with them because they're representative of a more aligned state. So it's a permission slip, in a sense, made out of a recognition of energy in a crystalline or geometric form that represents an aligned state.
Okay.
Use it however you wish. It's just a permission slip.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Does that help you?
It does.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
There's that funny noise that happens after everyone talks.
Hello, Bashar.
And are you good day?
Pleasure speaking with you. After all these years of listening to you, I finally get to meet you here in New York. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have a question. I'll at least preface it with this. There's been a lot of debate going on the internet in the last year, 18 months, having to do with the heliocentric version and geocentric version of the Earth. There's been a lot of deception being pointed out with NASA, and even there's some people out there saying the Earth is flat with a dome over it.
Yes.
And there are people out there that are trying to measure the curvature of the Earth, and they can't do it. What is your feelings on this?
Your Earth is a globe in space. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't other parallel realities that may reflect what it is that they're talking about. And certainly they can investigate those ideas. But it's not really applicable to the experience that most of you are agreeing to have here. Nevertheless, it's interesting as an exploration of what can be experienced in other parallel realities. Therefore, it might be representative, strangely, of an expansion of awareness, even though in some senses what they're describing might seem to be a backwards step in understanding.
Well, let me ask you, like there's a film that came out a couple years ago called The Principle. And you have the mainstream scientists right now that debating whether the Earth is moving or not. And they can't seem to come to a conclusion on it. And even some tests that were done over the last 100 years, they show that Earth is not moving. Well, how does that square?
The idea, again, is as your science and consciousness expand, there's going to be more and more overlap and more blending between them. So what you're understanding is that from one perspective, of course, the Earth is experienced as moving. But because they're starting to break into a higher perspective, they are starting to understand but can't yet completely reconcile the recognition that they're having that nothing actually moves because movement is an illusion as a projection of consciousness. So right now they're a little confused because they are overlapping these two things but don't understand quite what the reconciliation is in terms of the fact that they're creating the reality and they're missing the equational variable of consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to grasp that, but...
Nothing really moves. Physical reality is an illusion. Mm-hmm. You understand that?
Yes.
You create the illusion of movement. They're beginning to realize that movement is an illusion. Mm-hmm. Yet they're still trying to reconcile it with the measurements that they can take within the illusion of physical reality as they have classically described it. So they're seeing a contradiction because it looks like those two things are opposites, but they're not. They're just different expressions, different recognitions of the same state of being. That is, you have created the experience of movement within a reality that actually doesn't move.
So technically, we are rock flying through the space, circling the sun, flying through the universe with the crazy numbers they speak about as far as miles per hour?
From your perspective in linear space-time, that's what appears to be happening, and therefore it can be measured because you're using tools that you created in linear space-time to measure these things. Okay. Therefore, that's the result you get. But from a higher level, looking at it from a bigger perspective, nothing is moving.
Okay. Now, another thing regarding space, that there's some other people, they're filming the moon. And there's a gentleman called Crow 777 who's filmed an actual lunar wave where a ripple goes across the moon, and it almost distorts the moon as far as, it almost looks like it's water or something.
Yes. The idea is that your moon has a relatively thin crust and actually can, well, we believe many of your scientists have actually said this, it can actually sort of sometimes, by analogy, ring like a bell. Therefore, you find that there are gravitational ripples that can pass through it and be observed because of the nature of its construction.
And what causes the ripples?
I just told you. There are crustal displacements brought on by the idea of the passage of gravity waves.
Okay, so gravity waves. All right. Another question regarding the changes. I know we spoke about the changes of 2016.
Yes.
I'm assuming, I mean, since we spoke, since you said about the 2012 was the threshold, that
Yes.
things are becoming more positive.
There are many such thresholds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know all change has positive and negatives with it, but
Yes.
overall, is this a positive change as far as the change you see?
Ultimately,
Okay. Nice.
that doesn't mean you won't pass through a process,
Okay.
but ultimately, yes. Again, the general marker, at least up to this point, is that you are generally heading in a positive direction by the exploration of your consciousness. Were you not heading in a generally positive direction, it is unlikely we would be having these conversations. Because we wouldn't be having a conversation with a civilization it was pointless to have a conversation with.
Makes sense.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. One other question on why can't people measure the curvature of the Earth right now?
Of course they can. They do it
How?
all the time. Many people can measure the curvature of the Earth. Of course they
No,
can.
physically, as far as on the Earth with lasers and things like that.
They do. Do your research. It is
Right.
not that difficult to measure the curvature of the Earth.
Okay.
So they do.
Okay. One last question.
No, you had a last question, remember?
Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I believe it may be difficult for some people to measure the curvature of the Earth because they can't count how many questions they've asked. No offense. Oh, one last question. Oh, wait, one more last question. Oh, wait, I do have another last question. Just having some fun with you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have a few statements I'd like to explore
Oh,
with
by
you.
all means.
The first one is on the new children.
Yes.
And in my line of work, I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of children, which has always been...
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Before you continue?
Yes.
Why is it that none of your people say, in my square of work, in my sphere of work? It's always a line.
In my globe of work.
All right, thank you.
Because it's changed, but it
Yes.
continues to be with children.
All right, but it has expanded dimensionally.
Yes. Yes.
So more than a line,
Yeah.
more than a plane. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
I'd like to explore the topic of sound
Yes.
and the new children.
Yes.
Working with sound
Yes.
and working with sound to reach their parents and how we can support
Go right
them.
ahead and explore the topic of sound. Nothing is stopping you.
Yeah. Oh, I am. I'd like you to comment
You're
on
stopping
it.
yourself?
No, no, no.
You're exploring.
I'm exploring.
And this excites you.
Yes.
What do I need to comment on? You're following your excitement. You already intuitively understand that everything in physical reality is all about resonance,
Yes.
frequency, vibration. Therefore, as you create an atmosphere of certain frequencies and immerse people in them, they begin to take on, they begin to entrain to those frequencies that are representative of a more holistic experience, if they choose to.
All right.
But at least it gives them the opportunity. Yes?
Yes.
This is what we are doing with all of you right now, giving off a frequency that invites and encourages you to match the frequency, which is reflectively representative of more of who you really are.
Hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
So, you know what you're doing. You don't need any help from me.
All right. I got that.
Anything else?
Yes. Lately, I've been having some lucid dreams.
Oh, all right. How
And-
exciting.
Yes. And a lot of them have been about stones and just names of stones. And,
Yes.
I'm wondering if you can comment on just the earth speaking to us.
Yes.
And
You are starting to hear the language of other forms of consciousness on your planet, other expressions of the collective consciousness of your world.
in that exploration, then, is it just we continue to follow our highest excitement and then we know what to do? Because I get trapped in,
Yes. No, no, no.
what do I do?
That's a definition.
All right.
That's a definition. If you have a complete definition of excitement, you understand that within a complete definition of excitement is the understanding of what to do with it. If you don't have an understanding of what to do with it, it's because you have a definition that isn't complete. You're saying, oh, I can have excitement, but then I don't know what to do with it. That's not a definition of excitement, because excitement is a complete kit. You're defining your excitement as something less than a complete kit. Because if you understand it's a complete kit, you would understand it would bring everything you need, including all the information you need to know what to do with your excitement. So make sure that your definition of excitement is actually an accurate one, a complete one, a holistic one, instead of breaking it down into components that are contradictory to one another and have no business being put together in a way that you prefer to. Yes?
Yes. Thank you.
It's all about clarifying those definitions. Your definitions and what definitions you believe in most strongly are what determines how you experience physical reality. And remember, sometimes these things may seem very subtle. Oh, well, that's not such big definitional change, you may say. But the point is, as we have explained many times, you are now in an accelerated state, which means, by analogy to your technology, you now have very, very specific high tolerances. And the smallest speck of something that doesn't belong there will freeze the entire operation because the tolerances are so fine. So when you blow out the things that don't belong, then you'll operate again, you'll flow again. So this is all about an opportunity to clarify your definitions and make sure that your definitions are precisely aligned with what you prefer them to be, because if they're off even a little bit, the whole operation freezes until you blow that dust out. Make sense?
Yes. Is it as easy as that?
It is as easy as that, unless, of course, you choose to believe that it's not.
Right.
And that's up to you.
Yeah.
We will never take away from you your opportunity and your ability to complicate things for yourself. If you want to do that, it is absolutely, perfectly valid a choice. But you don't have to do it that way.
All right.
Does that help you?
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't even hide it right now.
Oh, well, please don't. Please don't.
Thank you.
Thank you. And are you good day?
Okay, my questions are a little bit more simple. The first one, also with the dreams.
Yes.
I have a lot of what we call nightmares.
How exciting.
Yes, they're very exciting. Sometimes too exciting that I feel like I wake up very tired.
Yes.
And it's very hard for me to be present here.
Oh, all right.
And I sometimes also feel like I pick up on memories from my dreams and feelings from my dreams and apply them to my life. As an example, would be upset with a person that I had a dream about and not realize that was the reason.
Yes.
So
what are you learning through this process? Oh, I can ask you a question if you wish.
Sure.
Would you rather the nightmares played out in your actual physical life instead?
No, because I feel like I have more control of my dreams.
Therefore, aren't you grateful and energized when you wake up in the morning and go, phew, that was only a dream?
Yes.
Then why are you tired?
Because then I'm going to sleep and go back to it.
And again, don't you understand that it's actually to your benefit to do it in the dream state instead of your physical reality? So wouldn't that be an exciting thing? I can let off all this steam and open all the valves and process all these things in my dream state. And I am really excited about getting back there so I can process more of those things in my dream state rather than allowing them to manifest in my physical reality. Isn't that an exciting preference?
Yes.
Can you look at it that way and then experience the difference?
Yes. It makes it more exciting.
Yes, it does. And this is what we are talking about. Create the definitions that work for you. Stop buying into definitions that don't. Many of you make automatic, unconscious assumptions that the way things are the way they have to be. Everyone knows, you say, that it's this way. Everyone says it has to happen like this. And pretty soon you actually accept that as a fact. There are no facts except the 5 laws. Everything else is your definition, your belief, your perspective, your opinion. So if something isn't working for you, Stop, take a moment and go, I don't have to think of this thing like this. I don't have to believe it's this. I don't have to believe it's a fact. I can determine what definition I would like to create that represents this experience. I would like to create a definition that works for me in a positive way, one that I feel is more aligned with my excitement. And you can. Nothing in creation will contradict you when you come up with a definition that you prefer. It doesn't have a mind of its own. You are all the minds that are given the free will to come up with whatever you decide is correct for you as a definition that works. That's your job. That's your power. That's your ability. You are completely free to do that. And creation will back you 100%. It doesn't contradict you because all experiences to creation are valid. So if you want to be supported in doing something you don't prefer, creation says, okie dokie, I will support you in doing something and feeling something and experiencing something you don't prefer because that's what you said you believe to be true. It's not going to contradict you. But why not allow it to support you in something you prefer instead of something that you don't? Because you're always supported. It's just that you're supported in what you say is true. It won't contradict you because it's unconditionally supportive. Unconditionally supportive. So whatever conditions you create, it will support them. Create the conditions you prefer. Create the definitions you prefer. It will support those just as readily as it has supported all the definitions that you've created that you don't prefer.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You are never not supported. It's not possible to be unsupported by creation. If you were unsupported, you wouldn't exist.
So with the same, I guess. So is there any chance that our spirit beings are in the wrong physical place?
Excuse me, there's a lot of laughter going on this end.
Inside my head too.
There is every chance in creation that you can have an experience of being in the wrong place. There is no chance that you actually are in the wrong place.
Do you have a choice of getting out of a place and going to a different place?
Depends on what you mean by a place.
A planet?
Yes. Do you want to leave the earth?
That would be nice.
Why? You chose to be on earth.
I feel like it's kind of boring for me. I don't know.
Really? Boring. With all the things going on your planet, you call that boring.
Comparing to my dreams, yes.
Do you understand that there's no such thing as a boring situation? Only bored minds? Your definitions are what's creating an experience of boredom, where they could be creating an experience of absolute ecstatic ecstasy. You're the one dampening the excitement.
True.
I know, that's why I said it. Change your definitions, I guarantee you things will get a lot more exciting very quickly.
Okay, thank you.
So, remember you made the choice to be where you are for your own exciting reasons. Allow yourself to remember what they are, because they haven't gone away.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So, I have been visited
Yes?
by a lot of creations
Yes?
from other places
Yes?
my entire life, but lately
Yes?
they've been very powerful,
Yes?
overwhelming.
Yes?
I know I have a job to do.
And are you doing it? Hesitation usually means no, not at all. What's holding you back from doing what you prefer to do, from being yourself as fully as you can?
I'm not ready to channel.
Who says?
Me.
Why not, though?
It's overwhelming.
How about it's overwhelming because you believe you're not ready, and therefore the energy's building up within you because you're not letting it through? What happens when energy piles up in something and then it can't really contain it after a while? What happens? Boom!
Yeah.
Why would you want to go boom instead of letting it flow through and then going, ah, that's a relief?
Because it's happening without my permission.
Nonsense. There's no such thing. Don't fall into that old trap. That's outdated thinking, medieval thinking, old-fashioned thinking. Nothing happens without your permission. You are in control. You just don't believe you are. Why would you think that you would receive this energy if you didn't ask for it?
You're right.
Why? What point would that serve?
Exactly.
So you must have agreed to this.
That's what they say.
Yes, it is. It's what we say too. Now, here's the real question. If you move forward in this way, in a way that is representative of being yourself as fully as you can, acting on your excitement, flowing the energy, what are you terrified might happen? Be honest. What are you afraid might happen if you just allow the flow to happen? Use your imagination. Come on, I know you can.
I'm not sure.
Sure you are. What are you afraid might happen? Name one thing.
I won't come back.
You won't come back? Where do you think you go?
Other places, other...
What are you describing as a channeling? You understand channeling is a natural state. You understand you've done it many times in different ways.
I mean, literally, just feeling like something else is in what I perceive as my body.
Listen, this is what I'm telling you. You have an outdated, old-fashioned, medieval definition of what happens in a channeling. You never leave. There is nowhere for you to go. There is no place within you for anything to enter. You fill you up 100%. There's no room for anything else. The idea of channeling is not a possession. The idea of channeling is you learn to vibrate at the same or similar frequency to something else, and when you match its frequency, your vibrations lock like tuning forks, and you translate the idea of this other entity or consciousness as a biological translation device. You translate it into your language. Nothing enters you.
Right.
You become a mirror of that idea, but you don't go anywhere.
Right, but it's so intense.
Yes, of
every
course,
time.
because you won't let it through. It's building up and building up because you agreed to this. So it's pushing and pushing and pushing. But this is the natural symptoms that come with resistance. And it's going to build and build and build, and you could explode if you don't let it through. So what are you afraid of in letting it through? You just said, well, I might not come back. Based on the explanation we just gave you, you understand that that's not possible because you don't actually go anywhere. So what else is getting in your way of letting it through? What other things are you afraid of that are actually false assumptions about what's happening in that experience? The more you divest yourself of these outdated definitions, the more you can relax and do the job and let it through and feel the flow and get supported by it instead of feeling so overwhelmed. You're creating the overwhelm by resisting what you agreed to flow through you. Because it's your energy that you're feeling. It's not the energy of another consciousness. Yes, there is other entities, but what you feel is your energy resisting going into harmony.
So I'm afraid of how powerful I am.
Yes. So get used to it. You are that powerful. Get over yourself. Are you understanding?
Yes.
You have a gift. And if you have a gift to give, there is someone waiting to receive it. Why are you depriving them of the gift you have by holding it back? It's not very nice. Are you not a nice person? Are you not a giving person? Are you not a loving person? Answer.
No, I am.
Then why would you hold back from the people that are waiting to receive from you the gift you have to give?
You're right. It's a disservice.
Yes, it is a service. And by serving others, you serve yourself in the way that you need to, because by supporting the whole, you get supported because you're part of the whole. Relax. There's nothing to be afraid of here. All you're doing is discovering more of yourself, more of your own power, and expressing it. And again, I remind you, anytime you've ever done anything that is representative of what you love to do, you're already in a channeling state anyway. This is nothing new. Channeling is a natural state. It's just a peak performance state. It's just an aligned state. That's all. Everyone does it from time to time anyway. And in fact, you're actually all doing it all the time in one way, because the idea of what you think of yourself as a person is a channeled projection. You're all channeling your personalities into being. So you're all channels, you're channeling all the time. This is nothing new. You're an old hand at it. But you are entering a new understanding of the expression. And by resisting it, you're feeling overwhelmed. Have some fun with this. That's what it's for. It's for you to discover more of yourself and express it in the ways that are true for you. And again, there are people waiting for the gift and the service that you can provide. So, don't be, what is your word? A Grinch. Don't channel the Grinch, because that's what you're doing by refusing to do it. You're already channeling a negative energy, your own. See what happens when it interferes? Synchronicity abounds. Look and recognize your symbols of when things are out of alignment, out of tune, and in discord within you. And let them flow and align them. Be the natural you. Is this helping?
Yeah, it is.
Yes?
So just one more.
Yes.
Really, I took a tally.
All right,
So
thank you.
this does seem related, and I imagine it's more blocking, but I know I'm not alone in this
Yes.
ailment, for lack of better words. We call it, what's it called? We call it, what's it called? Oh my gosh, sleep paralysis.
Yes, this is a natural symptom of shifting from one-dimensional state to another. And there you go again.
Okay.
The idea is that sometimes when you're shifting into another dimensional state, you try to move as you typically move in physical reality, but you're not really locked into the physical reality exactly in the same way. So you can't really move in the way that you're used to, and so it feels like paralysis. But the idea is that you're shifting to another dimensional state.
So is there a way to ease into it?
Well,
Because,
understand that that's what's happening, and the understanding itself can provide more ease. Oh, this is just the typical shifting into another state. This is what needs to happen, so I don't go spinning off into another dimension I don't want to go to. It's like locking you in so that you can shift properly.
Okay.
Like a seat belt. So that if there's an abrupt shift, you don't go flying through the windshield, metaphorically speaking.
Right. I think the panic sets in when you can't breathe.
But
During this
you are learning to breathe in a different way. You have to relax and let the things flow. Then you'll be fine. Just know that it's natural symptomology that you're not used to yet. That's all. It's just something you're not used to. But you'll get used to it. It's just the remnants of resistance. That's all. The more you relax, the more you do allow yourself to breathe in whatever way you can, the easier the flow will be. Just relax. Know that this is okay. Know that you are being guided. Know that you have help. Know that you're never alone. Know that there are beings looking out for you. Just relax. You have help. You're not alone.
So I just asked the same question twice.
Yes. But
Thank
that's
you.
often the case. That's why we say sometimes your questions are actually the same one in different clothing. Does this help you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Do us a favor. Are you willing to be more of yourself, knowing that this is something that others will receive benefit from?
Yes.
Will you come up to the beginning of the stage? And take the channel's hand? Is it a deal?
Yeah.
You shook on it. Yes? You're fine. Wait till she sees the fine print. Just kidding. Also mentioned that we would be speaking about the idea of the transformation itself, the accelerating wave of collective consciousness that many of you have intuitively recognized reaches a critical mass threshold in and around your cycle that you call 2012. This simply represents the idea of crossing into critical mass, where you have the potential for total positive reality. You have that now, of course. But after 2012, the idea of positive energy will be so much more available to so many more of you that if you should choose to ride the crest of that wave, the leading edge of that wave of consciousness, you can accelerate so rapidly, you can attract to yourself so rapidly the things that are representative of your passion, of your joy, without knowing in any way, shape, or form how these things could have happened, beyond reason, beyond logic, that again, your life will become literally so dreamlike, it will be at first dizzying and disorienting until you get used to it. Literally, you'll be walking through life like it's a dream, marveling at the miraculous synchronicities that just are popping up as a matter of course. Yes. When you ride the leading edge of the wave of consciousness. If, however, you choose to continue to compartmentalize your physical mind and make it responsible for being in charge, and have to know the how, and have to know the why, and have to know all the details before you'll be willing to believe that the higher self can simply bring this to you, then you will, by choice, position yourself somewhere down the line from the leading edge, in some of the eddies and currents and backwashes in the wake of the leading edge. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot find benefit in those locations, in those gradations of frequency behind the leading edge. But wherever it is you position yourself, you simply have to understand the effect you create will be absolutely directly commensurate with where you have positioned yourself, and it will not be any more than that. By definition, it cannot be any more than that. As an analogy, your visible spectrum of light, you understand that in the visible spectrum of light, red is a low frequency, the lowest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes. Violet is the highest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes in general. We understand many of you are beginning to stretch these boundaries, but for the purpose of this illustration, let's just stick with the common labeling of this visible spectrum. Now, you know, if something exists on the frequency of violet light, it's at a very high level of frequency, very high level of energy. And it will experience the things that go hand in hand with that level. If something chooses to exist on the other end of the spectrum, in the red frequency, it will be functioning at a lower wavelength, a slower wavelength, a lower vibration, and will only experience the things that are commensurate with that level in the spectrum. It's all energy, it's all light, it's all the same stuff, as you say, but the difference in gradation of the vibrational frequency will ultimately determine what is capable of being experienced on that level. If you're operating at a certain wavelength toward the lower end of that spectrum, you will only perceive red. Only! You will never perceive violet at that end of the spectrum. If you are operating at the violet end of the spectrum on a high frequency level, you will only perceive violet. You will never perceive red at that end of the spectrum. Ever. So, the leading edge of the wave of your collective consciousness on this transformation, you can live there and ride the crest, or you can allow yourself to float back into the wake. Somewhere in there will be vibrations that will be representative of whatever degree you are willing to allow your belief system to take hold. So, you must understand that if you do that, there are consequences to that. The consequence being that you can only perceive what is directly commensurate with the level you're on, and nothing else. Nothing lower, but nothing higher. But you are all capable of choosing to ride the crest, the leading edge. All right. Now, when some of you consider this, you get scared. It's going too fast for me. I might fall off. I might crash. I might smack into a brick wall. As if suddenly one would appear. Of course it will if you create it. But again, understand that if you create that brick wall, that's an indication you are no longer on the leading edge. Brick walls do not exist by definition on the leading edge. They only exist back down the line, in the wake, in one of the eddies, in one of the currents that is representative of belief systems that there are such things as brick walls. But if you're truly riding the leading edge, truly, as you say, surfing the crest, then you will understand that just like being on the top of the mountain, you have a clear and unobstructed view of everything in front of you. And you ride that wave right into ecstasy. Ride the leading edge of the ecstasy. Allow yourself the opportunity to know you can. You don't have to choose to. But then if you don't be surprised by what is commensurate for that level. It's completely up to you what to lock onto, what to believe, what to align with, what to associate yourself with. You can, on one hand, say, I understand these concepts. I believe these concepts. I will live these concepts. I am this idea. It can happen instantly, effortlessly, miraculously, wonderfully, joyfully, creatively, lovingly, now for me. Or you can recognize that you tend, quote unquote, choose to gravitate more to informational sources that confirm your own fear. Well, one should take their time. Well, one has to be careful with this stuff. Now, we understand that there is such a thing as recognizing and honoring whatever belief system you happen to have, and not pushing yourself beyond it if you truly don't believe you can, because that would simply be disastrous. But the idea is to understand and to clearly take responsibility for knowing that if you are aligning with someone that says, well, you know, you can't just go full throttle because you have to be careful that you're not doing this and you're not doing that. You might fool yourself here, you might fool yourself there, and you have to take it easy. If you align yourself with that, that's all well and good. But understand that you are choosing to, and it has nothing at all to do with the fact that you could change your belief and allow yourself to ride the leading edge where things manifest instantaneously. You could. But if you are not, it's your choice. And that's, once again, where you really need to be passionate about being passionate and find out why you are choosing to not ride the leading edge. You will obviously have your own reason for not doing so. Whatever that reason is, whatever you feel is the need for safety, is up to you to determine. But just take responsibility and recognize the responsibility and the choice that you are making for understanding that it's not empirically true that you have to do it that way. It's not empirically true that you have to listen to what that person is saying as opposed to what this person is saying. It's just your choice. Take responsibility for it and then be passionate about finding out why you believe what you do, so that you can, if you are willing, open up to new beliefs that will allow you to move up the spectrum and be in the violet instead of in the red, financially speaking. So, allow yourselves to simply at every given moment recognize what you're doing. Let go of the need to understand the how of it. Because you see, one of the things that stops many of you from having the experiences that were described in the recording is that, for example, when someone says, well, you know, I simply got into the state where I believed I would simply receive more checks. Your physical, logical, reasonable mind goes, well, where the heck are they supposed to come from? I haven't done anything to earn that money. What are you saying? That some stranger just suddenly going to get into his head to pop a check in the mail to me for no reason whatsoever, and I'm just going to go to my mailbox and open a check that comes from a total stranger that's suddenly giving me exactly what I want? Yes! Yes, that is what's being said. Yes, that is one possible way. Yes, that is one possible example of what could happen. But when your logical, reasonable, physical mind going, how does that make any sense? The thing to remind it is that it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to make sense. When you stop needing it to make sense, then you'll make dollars. You have got to give up. You've got to give up your need, your physical mind's need for everything to have a reason, for everything to make logical sense in the physical third dimensional world. If you say you wish to live in fourth density reality, you must give up the things that are commensurate with the three-dimensional world, such as logic, reason, not totally. I'm not saying be willy-nilly, fly by the seat of your pants people. I'm saying be aware of the fact that these things are simply points of view, and that you often stop yourselves from allowing these things to come to you because you logic them to death. You detail them to death, literally. You look for a chain of reasonable connection, And believe me, in fourth density reality, there are many chains that to a third density mind are not reasonable or rational at all. You have asked us, how do we travel from star to star? And we have explained to you, we don't travel from star to star. We're simply here, then we're simply there. The logical mind boggles. But how did you get there? How is it possible to go from here to there without stepping on all the places in between? That's not rational. That's not logical. Yes, it is from a different point of view. I'm talking about not abandoning logic. I'm talking about higher logic. The logic that comes from standing on the mountaintop where you can see the entire valley, the entire network, and where it makes sense to you on the mountaintop to say, if you actually go back 3 steps and then to the left, you're actually going to get there more quickly than if you just go straight ahead. Whereas down in the valley, the logical mind self is going, but everyone knows the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And if I go backwards, how can I get there sooner than if I go forwards? How? And the higher self goes, ugh. Because I can see that if you go forward there, the bridge is out. And if you take 3 steps back and go to the left, you go on a parallel road where the bridge is fine. But the point is that the language of the higher self cannot always communicate all those specifics to the physical mind, because the physical mind does not always have the capacity for that kind of translation. The only way that dialogue, most often than not from the higher self, translates to the physical mind is simply suddenly the urge to go back. The urge itself, the intuition itself, in the physical mind is the condensation and capsulization of the entire explanation from the higher self, saying, if you go 3 steps back and then go to the left and go down the parallel road, then the bridge is up. But all the physical mind will get is the tug. That's how it translates in physical reality, because the physical mind is not capable of actually perceiving in the same way the higher self is, and doesn't have to know all the reasons why and how. All it needs to do is know that that's part of who you are, and allow yourself to recognize that that is a communication and to follow it, and that you have received the information that you need, because it's on the same wavelength of your joy, of your passion. Why? Because you say it is. And you flow with it, and thus find out that it is. Or resist it for as long as you want, and keep walking on the same road until you get to the washed out bridge and go, oh, why didn't I listen to my intuition back there? Because you thought you were in charge, smarty. But you're not. Not you alone. You are in charge, but not you alone, physical mind. Physical mind, higher self, that's the you that's in charge. Both aspects of your being is the persona, not just the physical personality self. That's only a part of it. So if you want to know you're in charge, you have to behave like the whole you, and be willing to open up and receive and perceive in whatever way it works for you, the dialogue and the communication coming from the portion of yourself that is the higher self, that has the higher point of view, that has the bigger picture, and be willing to understand it's working on your behalf. It's not going to trick you. It's not going to deceive you. The only thing in your reality that can create the idea of tricks and deception is the physical mind's belief system, not the higher self. Because it is only in physical 3-dimensional reality that you can have the experience of a personality structure that can actually deny its own truth. So any tricks Any deception that you may be afraid of encountering can only actually be coming from the personality aspect that's actually afraid it's going to be deceived. That's the paradox. It can't come from the higher self because that's a bigger picture point of view. And it can clearly see the road. And there is no reason, there is no logic for the higher self to go, yeah, take the left road. Watch and see how my lower self falls into the river. This ought to be fun. Oops, I went with it. You are under the assumption that the higher self is immune from what you experience in physical reality. Incorrect. You are one being, and the higher self will suffer the slings and arrows that the physical mind shoots itself with. You are one being, and it is not detached from you, and it is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's choices. But because the higher self is closer to the vibration of unconditional love, it will overlook it. Again and again and again and again. Attempting to unconditionally loving you, reminding you, please take the other road, please. Oh, here we go again. It is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's acts and choices. Do not assume that it is. But it is close enough to unconditional love to forgive it and to keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. That's the relationship of your higher self. That's its job. To keep on guiding you no matter what. Because it is the vibration of unconditional love that the physical mind often refuses to allow itself to perceive. Through the belief systems it chooses to buy into that deny its truth to itself. So, higher self says, please, 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 please know you are loved. Please, please, please allow me to love you. Please, please, please love yourself enough to know you're not alone in this. That you don't have to do it all. That you weren't designed to. You weren't expected to. Ever. Not once. Carry this burden by yourself. Let me be your guide because I am you. Become familiar with that portion of yourself. It is not detached. It is not separate. It is not aloof. It is not in its own realm, unaware of what you are choosing to experience. It will also experience it in its own way. But nevertheless, will always overlook it and always urge you forward. Or left, or back, or whatever is necessary. Take a deep breath and let this sink in deeply, deeply, deeply. And allow yourself to at least consider the possibility that you deserve to be on the leading edge of the crest of the wave of consciousness of the transformation. Take another deep breath. Now, in terms of your time frame, what is the time remaining for the segment of this transmission?